I think I connected to your camera.
This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today on Monday? It's Monday. Oh my gosh. First Monday after Valentine's Day. It's Monday after a difficult weekend. We are live. This is the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral, BamaCentral.com. You're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Joe Gaither 6, or right there on the BamaCentral YouTube channel, listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon, the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. Appreciate everybody who hits us with a subscribe, rate, review. The numbers, there are people listening, but that is proof by the numbers. And so we appreciate everybody who does that. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the show. Oh, we got a lot to get into today. We're live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios. You can find us right off of McFarland Boulevard, just past the Tiger Rock to the left. You can call Derek and his team at 205-758-3391 for all your insurance needs: home, life, auto insurance, renters insurance, boaters insurance, anything in the insurance realm. Derek Daniel and his team can get you going. 205-758-3391. And you can be a part of our show by calling the hotline at 205-462-7340, extension 800. The phone line is live right now. The voicemail line is always live. You can leave us a voicemail if you did like or did not like, or have a question or comment, query, or complaint about the show right there at that voicemail line, 205-462-7340, extension 800. We're here with my man Mason Woods. Oh my gosh. You follow Mason at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine. Mason, save us. How are we doing? We're going to be talking Alabama, Auburn, Iron Bowl basketball, disappointment. You got anything to pick us up with before we get into it?
Ooh, it's been doom and gloom over here this weekend. It really has. That was tough Saturday. That was a very, very tough Saturday night. Despite the 9-point loss, there is still I think some things that you can take away that are good from that game. I think Alabama still did some things well.
A lot of things.
I really think a lot of that game was.
There's a lot of silver linings.
It's a lot of credit to Auburn. They came in and kind of played a perfect game. There was not really any flaws to their game plan. They took advantage of everything Alabama showed them. They exploited every bit of Alabama's weakness, and they shot the ball extremely well. Players that you did not expect to make threes made threes. Players that you did not expect to play inside as well as they did were able to get inside on Alabama and get to the basket. So it was more on, I think, Auburn just being a very, very good, well-rounded team than it was on Alabama having a bad night.
Well, Alabama had a bad night, but Auburn is definitely the number one team in the country.
I think that was obvious. I still think, you play that game 10 times, you might split it 6-4 or something like that. It's pretty close.
Well,
but
higher than that. Hey, golly, Alabama. Jeez Louise. I think Alabama wins the majority. You just make your shots at the rim, and you're going to walk away. You just get your free throws. How many one-on-ones? How many one-on-one front end of the, how many front end of the, 2 or 3 front end of the ones-on-ones? You left. Okay, right here. You left free throws. You're 26 to 35. So right there, 4 and 5 is 9 points. So there's your margin right there at the free throw line, plus what you would have had on the back end of some one-on-ones. Obviously, 100% is unrealistic. But we've been harping on it all year long. That's what's so disappointing. That's what's so bitter about the weekend is, yes, Auburn is the best team in the country. Boom. Give them the credit. Janai Broom, we're going to talk about you, and we're going to take a curveball here in about 10 minutes. We're going to hang out with Philip Dyson, who was camping out, part of Crimson Chaos. He was there the whole weekend. We're going to find out how cold it was. We're going to find out how they passed the time, about Nate Oats bringing by the pizza, this, that, and the other. You'll follow Philip Dyson on Instagram at Philip Dyson. We're going to have fun with him in about 10 minutes, but really just disappointing because you get to the rim. Jaron Stevenson, Oh my gosh, MIA, Aiden Holloway. You get to the rim. I mean, it took Aiden it took Aiden a while to get into that game. I think the pressure of the moment. We talked about it on Friday. Is he going to succumb to the? I mean, I did, didn't I? I'm sitting there on Saturday night thinking about what we talked about on Friday.
As soon as that first shot didn't drop, I knew. You could tell. It was just like wind out of his sail right there.
Right.
Like, oh man, it's gonna be a long night for him.
And he did end up scoring himself, getting on the scoreboard and scoring double digits, but 1 of 4 from beyond the arc. Just a disappointing day from almost everybody, in my opinion. And I think you use it going forward. I mean, look, the last time you lost in Coleman Coliseum, you went on the road to Kentucky and got a big win against Big Blue Nation. So, like, everything's fine. Look, everybody chill.
No
everybody, you can doom and gloom and have butthurt feelings, and that's appropriate for a loss to Auburn. But don't jump off the cliff.
Sure.
Don't, there's no, don't call the suicide hotline where you're not there. It did sting. I saw. Our man Mardi Gras on the Twitter machine, worst loss ever. Is that what he said? I think he said worst loss ever, worst home loss ever. And I was like, a lot of people jumped him for that.
Drastic.
And of course, there's emotion in that. There's, all that goes into playing Auburn. Sure. But, okay. It just depends on what you want to look at. There's a lot of good with the bad. You had. Okay, where are you at? Don't they have layup numbers on here? Yes, they do. They're under home stats and they're under specialty point. Yes, right there, layups. You're 14 of 30 on the game for layups. Alabama, like less than 50% at the rim.
That's option one. That's option one. That's. Oh
yeah, man. 4 or 5. That's nice and fun. 4 or 5 on dunks. That's nice and fun. And Cliff, oh my gosh, man. Brought the house down. And literally, I'm up there watching with Coach Bryant, and I'm so happy that I got to be in the arena that on Saturday. Grant Nelson took off. It took off from the parking lot. Right. It wasn't the foul line. People were saying he jumped from the foul line. No, it was one step inside the 3-point line. It was, I am going for this bet. And I wish he bailed out. Yeah, he bailed out right at the end to save himself. And it's like, buddy, you went for it. You've got to finish if you want to make this play. So he bails out, which, of course, come on, little old me, never dunked a basketball in my life except for a 7-foot rim. Mm-hmm. You bailed out.
There was a 0% chance he was completing that dunk.
I think if he commits, if he committed to, I am just dying on the end of this dunk.
He would have been 4 feet short. He jumped from so far back, and it looked like, and again, I watched on the TV, so I wasn't there, but it looked like, as soon as he left his feet, he realized, oh dear God, yes. What have I done? I jumped way too early, and immediately was like, who do I give it to? It was. That was like the thing that I would do in middle school when I would get the ball, because I never got the ball. I would just panic every time and immediately try to lay it up. I had 20 feet away from the basket. I'd take 2 steps and put a layup up. That was the great. He got tunnel vision and just saw red in his eyes.
Tunnel vision.
He was getting to the basket come hell or high water.
I wish he would have just said, "I'm dying on this," because the place. You got to give credit. So I got to give a lot of credit. We grade the crowd a lot on this show. We kind of give
seemed like they were
unbelievable, and literally was waiting to just explode any old time. The crowd was like, okay, just give me anything to cheer for. And the roof was about to explode. And granted, I was sitting up with Coach Bryant, so I was with everybody at the very top, so you could hear. And there was, good percentage of Auburn fans in there as well. The place was going insane. So just to lose the game is disappointing. To lose it that way is disappointing because I felt like you left so much out there.
Definitely.
So much out there.
I think with the way that the two teams played, it did not necessarily indicate. And a 9-point game, indicated a less competitive game than they had on Saturday night in Coleman Coliseum, I think. I think Alabama put up more of a fight than that 9-point deficit kind of indicates. They just had a lot of things not go their way. Like you said, you couldn't make a layup to save your life.
I mean, what the hell is that? That was what was so baffling to me.
I don't know. So, I mean, yeah, like, what'd you say? What was the stat you said? What'd you list
14 of 30.
You go 20 of 30.
Sure. I'm not asking for 30 of 30. Like, of course you're going. There are big boys in there. Janai Broome, Dylan Cardwell. They're big old guys. Whatever. Katie Johnson or whatever. Carrie Johnson, Kathy Johnson. Chaney Johnson. That's right. Yeah. I mean,
golly, speaking of, that dude we've talked about it. Like, the guy you don't quite expect to. That was it. That was him on Saturday night. He didn't quite drop 35, but that was the guy.
Well, Auburn bucked your analytics is what they did. Auburn bucked your analytics because you said this is the guy you're sagging off on. He goes 2 of 4, and like obviously that's not 5 of 7, sure. So he's not like a massive number. But even 2 of 4, you were banking on going 1 of 4, 0 and 4. But here was my annoyance with that. Is I was assigned to watch the Vanderbilt Auburn game for Vandy on SI, and that's what we're doing on the writing side lately. Thankful for that. No complaints. But Chaney Johnson was who tore up, right? He tore up the Vanderbilt Commodores 4 days earlier for 24, 20, 30 for a big number, for a big 20-something number.
28, I think, or something like that.
And making shots left and right. So, the analytics overall said probably will sag off on him.
Sure.
But dude was, coming in feeling hot.
After he makes the first one, I don't understand why
the Auburn 3-point shooting was above what they've shown this year to a slight degree. But Denver Jones I think he was 5 of 7 against Vanderbilt on that Tuesday. They got shooters. I mean, Janai tried to go hard on it. Janai made like the first one and first 2, I think.
Yeah. That hurt. Those were just gut punches, like kick you while you're down. We're gonna stomp on you a little bit.
But you gotta come ready. Like, we're gonna talk about it after we hang out with Philip Dyson. This team has really, really struggled the last couple of weeks in, zeros on the clock or whatever, 20 minutes on the clock. We're starting. The ball's getting tipped. And, hey, let's go. Let's get into it. You're down 9 points right off the jump. You're down 9 points at halftime. You stretch it to 14. You bite back into it. Oh, but you're still down 9 points. And, like, every little bit. Oh, you run it all the way back. But then Auburn, obviously, they're going to bite back. They're going to punch back with 6 minutes left to go or whatever it was when you tied it back up at 60. Like, of course, Auburn's going to make a run. And lo and behold, you're down by 9 again. And they hold the 9. Like all because you weren't ready to play at the start of the game, and you really weren't ready to play right at the start of the second half either, because they jumped it back out to 14. That's going to really be an area that drives me up the freaking wall, and we'll talk about how to fix it after we hang out with Philip Dyson. All right. So we're bringing Philip Dyson into the program, and you can follow him at Philip Dyson on the Instagram machine. Before we do that, we'll go ahead and tell you about Derek Daniel and State Farm. We'll hit that ad right out of the way. Derek Daniel and his team, look, they can save you money. I know budgets are about to get real tight here. You can call Derek and his team today at 205-758-3391. All your insurance needs. Red, Reese, and Victoria, they are upstairs right now. Yeah, I saw their cars up in the driveway. 205-758-3391. You got home insurance, life insurance, auto insurance questions. Are you buying a car? You're selling a car? You're looking to make a trade? You got to figure out how that's going to affect the budgets. The insurance obviously going to change when you do make that trade. Call them at 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. All right, what's going on? We're hanging out in the Derek Daniel State Farm studios, and we're bringing in Philip Dyson, who spent the weekend sleeping on the Coleman Coliseum steps. Philip, what's going on? You can find Philip at Philip Dyson on the Instagram machine at Philip Dyson. What's going on, man? How are you? And
Hey,
how
Joe.
did you sleep Saturday night?
I didn't. That's well, Saturday night. Yeah, that was definitely easily like the best sleep I've had. Um, Friday night, I didn't sleep. It was a little bit rough. I remember last year. This is our first game day for basketball, and easily like you get there at 6 a.m. and the line was just down the stairs from the Coleman Comments, from the Crimson Chaos entrance. This year, you had to get there Thursday afternoon to set up a tent, and I mean, granted, it was the number one versus number two Auburn, probably one of the biggest games, the only SEC one versus two in history. So I mean, it makes sense, but it was like you had to be out there setting up your tent, getting there early. Um, but yeah, and then yeah, me and my friends, we had to take shifts on who was going to be there, and but yeah, like you basically had to be there Friday early morning to cement your spot to get in.
Okay, so you get there Thursday night, Friday early morning. How did how does that jive with classes? That's the obvious dumb question. Do we just leave the tent and go over to class, or we skip class on Friday? We don't have
Yeah.
class on Friday. How does that
So
jive with the academic part of our journey at the University of Alabama?
yeah. So thankfully, I don't have classes on Fridays. I know a lot of people do. So that yeah, it kind of goes into either you skip class or you have friends that take shifts and but yeah, thankfully I don't have class, so I kind of did my own thing. Spent Friday afternoon there. I had a Valentine's date, so I went and did that while my friends stayed at the tent. Came back early Saturday morning, like 1 a.m. Um, so yeah, I just
You
spent the
weren't
rest
taking
of
the
the time
Valentine's
there.
date back to the tent?
No, she wanted. She's doing her own thing. She ended up getting her spot in line probably about 5:30 in the morning.
Whew.
Um, but yeah.
All right, slow down real quick. I got more questions here, right here about how are you showering in some sort of Coleman Coliseum community shower, or are you going to a friend's house to get ready, or are you going fresh from the campground right to the date?
No, before the date, I definitely went back to my apartment and shower and got ready. I'm not an animal. But yeah, then after the date, went to bed just to get any kind of because you know for the football game day for when we played Georgia, I was out there 48 hours no sleep, and it was miserable. So I had to get some kind of sleep.
Okay, so what are the top activities that you're doing out of the campground? Is there power? Are we setting up, PlayStation, Xbox? We're getting down on college football. Are we breaking out some cards and some chips, playing poker? Fake money. Well, what's the way to pass the time in the Coleman Coliseum campground?
Oh yeah, I did see for sure some TVs, Xboxes. People were playing college football 25. Saw some fold out poker tables. Um, People throwing the football around. Just kind of anything, hanging out. Um, yeah.
And what's I mean, are we cooking out there? I mean, I saw obviously we were going to ask you about Coach Oats bringing the pizza out. I guess on if that was Friday night, late Friday, early Friday night. You were probably on your date then, I guess, so you weren't there. Unfortunate for you. You could have
Yeah.
had your date right there at the campground and had your
Yeah,
date
I could
talking to
have.
Coach Oats and been the hero. But no, you had to take her out somewhere nice, like everybody else. What's the food situation out there? Is it just everybody's door dashing, or is there anybody cooking? What's we're packing a lunch? What's the move?
Yeah, so either people would, either have friends go get something real quick and then come back and bring it. There was, I will say, someone. These are students. They had bought a hot dog cart and they were cooking hot dogs for people and making some money doing that. So I won't lie, I did have a couple hot dogs. But yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So the obviously this was a very special occasion. The 1-versus-2 game, the Iron Bowl of basketball. Everybody's very, very excited for it. Pretty, the reason why everybody's camping out. How do we turn Alabama into the school that tailgates for home basketball games? That's what we have to do here. I feel like there's a golden opportunity. We set up every game. We have kids camping for every home game. We have people out there with grills. We got people set up with their PlayStation, their TVs and things. How do we start tailgating for basketball games? Because that's how we get the casuals. That's how we get the Gumps into the game. That's how we get Coleman Coliseum rocking every home game.
Yeah, I think it starts in the student section. Obviously, Crimson Chaos has done a pretty good job. Getting the students there, getting them excited. And not every game is going to be a 1-versus-2, but if we treat it like it, I think it'll kind of resonate into the other seats going up to Coleman. As for tailgating, I mean, the idea for a new Coleman's been there for years. So if we can get more space, then out in the parking lot. But yeah.
Well, Phil, what did you make of the game on Saturday? Obviously, disappointing result from the Alabama perspective, but what were some of your main takeaways from being there all day, being at College game day, and then watching the game unfold?
Yeah. So, despite losing, it wasn't a terrible loss. We didn't get blown out, so that was a moral victory, I guess. But yeah, like just from like the first 3-pointer they took, splash, I was like, oh, this is gonna be bad. And then they went on a 9-0 run. I was like, oh no. But yeah, we just couldn't make the shots we like get a lot of our points from 3-pointers, and we couldn't make those shots. I think it was the 3-point percentage made was only like 20%. You were usually a little bit higher than that. A lot of the and ones we were going up for couldn't land those either. And it just seemed like Auburn was making every shot they could possibly make. So we just got outplayed. And I hate to say that, especially it being Auburn, but we got outplayed.
So I think you're dead on with your assessment there. Auburn making a lot of tough shots, and Alabama missing a lot of shots that maybe they usually make. What's the vibe? Walking out. Everybody's walking out of Coleman Coliseum. I'm with you. I'm leaving from. I guess I was sitting to you guys right per se. Everybody's leaving. What's the vibe with the students? Like you lose, you're disappointing. You got how many home games left? 3, 4. You got 6 games left. You're at Missouri next. So how many home games do you have left, Mason? 3 or 4 home games remaining. What's the everybody's still on board, or big errors kind of let out of big momentum lost by losing this game?
It almost kind of felt like this weekend was a waste, as much as I hate to say, and I'll still be like ride or die for Tide hoops all day, but like it was a big blow. We're now 0-2 in games hosted for College game day. So it's like, can we win on a big stage again? I don't know. Like with March Madness last year, we went all the way to the Final Four, but like, with the rest of our schedule, it's not easy. Just about all these teams are ranked in the top 25. I don't know. We have Kentucky at home, Florida at home, and then, Tennessee, Auburn again on the road. So it's going to be tough. But, I don't think all these fans are just casuals and jumping on the bandwagon. I think, Alabama students they're sold into Tide hoops, win or lose. But yeah, I mean, it's just a big blow, but yeah.
What's the biggest thing you learned about yourself camping out in Coleman Coliseum the second time around?
And the second time around, I kind of could gain my footing and know like what I'm like doing and what to do, what not to do. I took my own advice and I was like, I'm getting some sleep. I can trust my friends to keep my spot. But yeah, like honestly, yeah, I'd say that just like giving up control and wanting to be there the whole time and prioritizing my health over the experience, I guess the experience. I would have loved to be there for Nate Oates passing out pizza. I was there last year when Nate Oates and the team brought out donuts in the morning, so trade-offs you make, I guess.
Yeah, actually, I was filming Coach Oates last year, giving out the donuts, and I told my partner, I said, I'm not going this year. Like, it's just too much. I'm just going to go to the game and have fun at the game. What did you think of College Game Day inside Coleman Coliseum?
It's always a great environment. Reese Davis is a personal hero of mine, so it's always good seeing him. The rest of the College Game Day cast, like Jay Williams, is super cool. Coming into the student section, there's a clip of him, waking up two students because obviously we've been out there, for days and we're all tired. And I was like ended up being like in the shot, like right behind him, so it was really cool. It's always a cool environment for something to happen when game day comes and they get to shoot their show here and we get to be, part of that. It's really cool.
Did you get called out by Jason Williams to shoot a 3-point shot?
I did not. I was begging him to because, not gonna lie, I have been practicing my jump shot in the reg, just hoping they would choose me, but they didn't.
Well, we could have used you on Saturday afternoon, 26. We could have used you to make a couple for the Crimson Tide.
Hey, put me in, coach. I'm ready.
This is Philip Dyson. He's hanging out with us just a little bit longer on the Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral. You can follow him on the Instagram machine at Philip Dyson. He was a part of the huge Crimson Chaos crew camping out at Coleman Coliseum, going to College Game Day, and trying to will the Crimson Tide to a victory. If you could change one thing from Saturday, Friday night into Saturday, if you could change one thing, you could be on the floor or off the floor, what would you change?
I would probably change that Grant Nelson dunk attempt. If he could have made that over Janai Broom, oh my gosh, the stadium would have exploded for sure.
Did you? I thought he had a chance of making it. Mason said he didn't have a single chance. I thought if he'd have committed to it,
he jumped from 70 feet away from the basket.
No,
what do you think?
I think it was definitely like just inside the 3-point line. As soon as he took that first step, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh!" My eyes got like super wide. Honestly, I don't think he would have made it either. I think it would have, bounced off the back of the rim or something like that. But that would have definitely changed momentum. Hopefully for the rest of the game. But dang.
We could have done one of those like Blake Griffin where you just throw it down really hard instead of actually dunking, or you get pretty far away. That would have been something. But boy, I don't think Grant knew how far away he was when he left the floor.
No, yeah, for sure.
How many Bruce's fat chants do you think you guys mustered on Saturday?
So many. I mean, that's always what we try to do with Bruce Pearl. I know. He's a great guy off the court, but on the court, I mean, it's strictly business. We have to. So we definitely got in, at least like 8 or something like that. Just anytime we could try to get under his skin because we know he's listening. So,
what is your personal favorite chant in the student section?
Oh, it is Bruce's fat for sure. Yeah.
Mason, any other questions you have for Philip as we're hanging out here?
Ooh, no, I think we kind of got everything. I was, it was very encouraging to see the fans come out like that for this. Obviously,
how cold was it out there?
Yeah.
Honestly, Friday and Saturday weren't too bad. Thursday night was bad. I know me and some friends were out there and it got down to 30s. So, but yeah, the rest of the time wasn't bad. Just wear a jacket and you're chilling. But yeah.
Insulated sleeping bag or something?
The main thing was just, you get in your tent and you have a wind cover. So that covers the bulk of it. But
Philip, I appreciate your time, man. I appreciate you hanging out with us. Tell everybody where they can find you on the Instagram machine, and really anything else you want to get in before you get out of here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Joe and Mason, for having me. You can find me on Instagram at Philip Dyson. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. That's Philip Dyson hanging out with us right here in the Daniel State Farm Studios. I hope everybody could hear him very, very well. I know some of that was just a little choppy, but great insight. Fun time. I'm thinking about.
I was very happy to see
I'm thinking about my man's back.
I wouldn't have made it.
No.
I wake up from a bed with like crippling back pain. I can't imagine sleeping on the ground.
Because I walked past the tent village, just like he's talking about. It was like right behind the track stadium. The track stadium's up there. Like you got Coleman, you got the football office, and then the track. Like you get the back into the football office, the weight room, kind of the indoor facility. It was kind of in that corner. And that's why I asked him if they had power. Like, I didn't know if they had any sort of power. He said, yeah, we're playing PlayStation. Which, okay, sure, that's an easy way.
Somebody had some space heaters going and things too, maybe. A little fire hazard action. I'm telling you, I think we've got to, it's got to get turned into Alabama has to become the school that tailgates for basketball. That would be great.
Well, that's the next step. Okay, so we got a lot to get into with this. And, okay, we're on this track with the fans.
I was so happy.
You were happy. Kerry Good.
From an outside perspective.
Right. Kerry Good, former running back, played for the Crimson Tide ALS, I believe
so.
But he was at the game, and he goes to social media and gets a lot of positive response. And on his take of, I don't like the chant, bleep you Auburn, Bruce is fat. I don't like the now. One aspect I totally agree with. He includes the fan throwing something on the court.
Yeah.
Tony Giles getting on the PA announcer first. To the fans in the corner, please do not throw anything onto the. And then Nate Oats. Nate Oats, I guess, heard that.
Sounded like he ran over, grabbed.
Well, how did that play on TV?
It didn't really come through, but the camera watched Nate basically run over, grab the headset, put it on. You saw him, and then he kind of just tossed the headset back down on the desk in front of him.
Yeah.
And the announcers were like, "Oh, Nate Oats had an announcement for the fans here to not throw things onto the court."
Yeah.
You could see it, you just couldn't really hear it.
He goes, "Hey, whoever's throwing stuff on the court, knock it off. We're trying to win a basketball game. We don't need you costing us points." And like whatever he said, like everybody was cheering so loud after he said that. He said something else. I couldn't hear it. Yeah, he said something else. It was, but the fans were going so nuts at that point that I couldn't hear it.
There was many times where you could tell on the broadcast that the announcers were basically shouting at each other. I mean, you could hear it in their voices, like they had an elevated, like they're running out of breath sentence to sentence because they're having to talk so loud and project so much at each other just so they could hear one another. It was really it really came through how insane of an environment was in Coleman Coliseum on Saturday night.
But don't throw bleep on the court.
No.
Don't throw anything on the court. My that made I didn't see it from where I was. Now, obviously, I looked as soon as they made the announcement, but they kind of curtailed it at that point.
I couldn't really even tell what was happening in watching it, and then they say, "Oh, it looks like something got thrown on the court," and then announce it.
Beer bottle, beer can, exactly Miller Lite can, Ultra, whatever.
Yeah, no, can't be having that. I will say, BFU Auburn chants. You're not gonna find me getting upset about it.
Yeah. So where's the line in it? We're trying to get under the opponent's skin. And it's a rivalry game, bud.
Words. It's a word. Words are words. It's a combination of letters, man. If you got such an issue, I grew up, my parents did a pretty good job explaining to me, hey, if you hear these words, these are the ones you can't say. These are the bad ones. So if you hear them, you know not to repeat them. if you can't teach your children that, maybe don't take them into public settings because these things are going to happen. Your kids are going to hear things like I hate that. Oh, you change beat Auburn. That's the corniest crap on the planet. I hate it. No,
people getting upset with Rammer Jammer. We just beat the hell out of you.
There's a group of take Bryant-Denny Stadium on a given Saturday. There are, what do we think, 90,000, 92,000 adults to 8,000 children maybe in that stadium?
Yeah, so.
Come on, folks. Let's not cater to the little ones here that probably aren't even going to remember hearing the chant or even be able to make out what it is in the first place.
Well, you make that point, and I didn't tell you to make that point, but at one point in the game, I look over during and a kid, 4, 6, somewhere.
I hope he was doing it.
No, he turned to his dad and said, "What are they saying?" And he said, "Auburn sucks."
Yep. Pretty simple. And
that's what he said.
Okay.
And he goes, "Oh, all right.
Auburn sucks."
Right.
Auburn sucks.
Right.
And he fit right in with the crowd of 10,000 people screaming.
Right.
It's just such a nitpicky argument.
And all the fellas, like I turned and made eye contact with the dad, and he kind of smiled at me, and
yeah, man. You're not going to tell 4,000.
He said, "Can't have him saying on." He goes, "You never know. You can't have him going on school on Monday." And I was like,
sure,
"I got you, man."
Valid. You're not going to tell a group of thousands of 18 to 22-year-olds that they can't say the F word for 3 hours. That's preposterous. Like, it's just insane, people. It's going to happen. Let's stop policing how people cheer at sporting events. It'd be one thing if it was, worse than a 4-letter word here and there. If they were chanting like racial things or something, sure, we have some issues here.
Oh yeah,
but it's the F word, people. You hear it every day. It's not that big a deal.
All right,
I loved how excited they were on Saturday.
Oh,
the Bruce's fat. I did. I'm pretty sure at one point could make out a Bruce's fat chant on the broadcast, so that I love.
We got to talk about the start. Go ahead.
When they we talked about it on Friday. Bruce Pearl, always he takes it very well. He's good. He's a self-deprecator. He's good at that kind of thing. They get to halftime and they come off the court. Coach Pearl, Janai Broom, 8 points right in the first 3-4 minutes of the game, but then the last 15, he has 2. How do you get it? What's going on there? And he goes, well, if he was playing for a much better coach, he would have more points, but I'm not a better coach. I love when a coach can self-deprecate themselves. I can always respect that. And I think Bruce makes himself a bit of an easy target by being kind of a goofball, but he also, I think he plays into it knowing that that's a bit of the character he's created.
Yeah, you want to talk about the starting lineup that needs to change?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing and that's what I'm hearing. And I guess I agree. I'm a bit reluctant, though.
Why?
I just don't, everybody I'm seeing, it's so easy. Just put 3 guards on the floor. I don't think it is that easy. I think you throw 3 guards out there, and they're going to get punished into the dirt every time somebody comes down the floor. You might be able to run, sure. But what happens when all 3 of those guards are having an off night shooting like they were on Saturday?
No.
And you go 20% from 3, and you're getting pummeled on the inside. I
don't think you start there.
Reactionary.
I don't think you start at 3 guards.
That's the first thing I've seen.
The first thing that I do,
I want LeBaron on the floor.
Yeah, you take the ball out of Mark's hands and you put it in LeBaron's, and you say, "Mark, catch and shoot."
Number 2,
catch and shoot, catch and shoot. You have been a great go catch and shoot from the parking lot. You want to hang out back here, stretch the floor, because.
It's very obvious that LeBaron is the better ball handler of the 2. And at any given moment has a better feel of what's going on in front of him with the other 4 players on the court. I think you can see it.
Now, Mark gets a good whistle.
Yeah. Mark is great at drawing fouls. He's great at getting to the basket. So just bring the ball up with LeBaron and give it up if he goes to the left.
Okay. Yeah, fair.
He's dangerous that left. If he gets stopped off that, if somebody jumps that screen and defends it well or something, possession's cooked. We're holding the ball until 2 seconds left on the shot clock, and Jaron throwing up.
Shoot me 3 in the face!
But and I think that's exactly why you did get the damn ball in LeBaron's hand. He was electric. He had some freshman error, but he was all around. I thought he was.
I don't
to
know.
me, at least, he seemed like he knew what was going on the most of anybody on the court when he played on Saturday.
Well, I put the ball in his hands because of the first. I mean, you see, 14 of 30 inside, and we're complaining about that. But you should have gotten not 30 shots at the rim. You should be getting 50.
50?
Yeah.
Sure.
You should
Yeah.
you should like you're not getting to the rim enough. This period. And granted, okay, Auburn's really physical. And you're going to complain about losing Auburn, but your silver lining, and I had a friend text me this, so when he listens, he's going to be smile. But he said, "Oh, look how physical they're playing, and Alabama's still right there." And he's right. So, but you're still not getting to the rim enough. One of my notes is whether you're getting to the rim or not, you have to get the ball in the paint, either from the dribble or the pass. Doesn't matter. I mean, really and truly. Right. Really and truly, it's the pick and roll. We're rim running. Two guys are running the rim, pick and rolling, and the ball's in the paint, and the defense. You got to get the defense in motion. Yeah. And when the defense isn't in any sort of motion, well, because the offense isn't in any sort of motion, and you're just popping 3-point shots, well, you get 5 of 26. And you say, why didn't we shoot better 3-point shots? We live by the 3, we died by the 3. I mean, I'm only shoot you in the face. You got to get downhill and get to the rim. And that's why, to me, you put the ball in LeBaron's hands first because he's more explosive and quicker twitch. He's got to get to, whether he finishes better or not. I think that's probably a debate between he and Mark. But
I think he maybe
he turns the corner. Yes. Turn that corner and get downhill.
I'll take more attempts at the rim over this guy shoots them a little bit better.
Right. And just sit there and ask yourself, who would you rather be catching the ball on the pop to shoot? Mark or LeBaron? That should be an obvious answer. You'd rather your man Mark Sears, who has all kinds of experience and how many other 1,500 or 2,500 career points, like just out the wazoo, catching the ball up at the top of the key or on the corner, from LeBaron, from whoever.
You think some of this is, and maybe I don't want to blame it on Mark. We love Mark. Mark's the guy. Mark's the face of the team. Whatever. But like some of it, I think is his fault. But also, you think some of it is a bit kind of philosophical with just the way Nate Oats likes to run things with the we want to get a shot off before the shot clock hits 16 or whatever it is, where it's like, okay, that first drive to the basket wasn't there. I got to immediately kick it out, and that guy's got to get a shot off right now. Whereas, are they focusing too much on we have to get this shot off in the first 5, 6, 7 seconds of the shot clock, or is it just Mark Sears doesn't get to the rim well enough, and if he doesn't get to the rim well enough, then he has to kick it out to somebody outside, and then they can't get in, and it snowballs from there. Or is it? I guess the answer
honestly,
is somewhere in the middle, probably, but I don't know.
Honestly, I think that we're even what we're doing right here is overanalyzing the game. You play that game. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the shot quality score. Shot quality score had Alabama 106 to 90.
People criticize that statistic.
Sure.
I'm not sure why, but
sure. Oh man, I think we have a phone call. Sweet. Let's see if I can make this work. I'm going to hit present, share screen, that window. Right there. Hello, can we hear? Here we go. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, well, I hear something. Oh, there we go. A little better. Oh yeah. Okay. Welcome. This is number one caller, first caller.
We need an air.
Yeah. Don't I have an applause here or something? I think I do. Yes, sir.
I mean, I think you're right. I think these two teams have really separated themselves this season as two. I mean, like they are just a head above everyone else. I think, and I want to because I had not even really had the mental bandwidth today to think about this the dropping in the top 25 rankings, and like it's such.
Oh yeah, they put it out today. James,
Yeah.
that you have made my day to call. Keep going, Mason.
Yes,
I'm
thank you. We love
I am
callers.
over the moon. Keep going, Mason.
But like at the Home Depot today, I saw it kind of come through and just thought, oh, that's a little strange, and then just right at the back of my head, that is ridiculous. Like I know it's such a dumb thing to get angry about. We're sitting here talking about an arbitrary number that some committee votes on each week, whatever. But it is like categorically that's preposterous to drop Alabama after watching Auburn not move in the rankings after losing to a much worse, not much, but a worse Florida team than Alabama lost to an Auburn team. Like that is very, very strange how that works. Duke, you beat Stanford, you didn't do anything impressive. And Florida, you beat the worst team in the SEC. Again, not overly impressive.
So they made the poll. Auburn, Duke, Florida, Alabama.
Mm-hmm. I just cannot understand how that happens.
You shouldn't have fallen any worse than 3.
No, not at all.
Okay, give you Duke, whatever.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
James, thank you so much for calling, and I really, I mean, to be the first one to test this out, I really appreciate it a whole lot. All right, that's James joining us. I'm gonna bump it out. I think let me hit that right there. And I really appreciate him giving us a call, 205-462-7340 right there on the Zoom machine.
It could be you next.
Yeah, we'll keep working it out. I think that we will keep. I think we just need more internet in here, a little more internet juice in here. I have a hotspot. Don't have it turned on today, just because it's been a little funky with me. But that was exciting. That was thrilling, and like I think he hits it right there by saying like you're disappointed to lose Saturday,
Sure,
but small adjustments. A couple small adjustments, and you have, a couple small adjustments, and you win the game. You make a couple of these layups. You make 7 of these. You make 6 of these nine free throws. You make just a couple of these plays, and it's a whole different game. Yeah. So
Alabama did not come out and lay an egg on Saturday. I think our friend Philip kind of said that. Like in the back of his head, I think he said a little bit. It maybe felt like kind of that nagging voice was like maybe this is all just kind of a waste after they lost the game. But like it was not a waste on Saturday night. You went out and you went toe to toe with what is now confirmed to be the best team in the country, and you held your own. Like I understand that was a 9-point game, and 9 points in basketball feels like a big deficit, but it to people that watched the game, like it was not quite that. It was a closer game than that 9 points indicated, and I think there's a lot of positive to take away for Alabama. You still have room to grow for this team. I don't think we've seen this team's peak yet, and if they can scrape a little bit more, I really think that you got a contender with them.
All right, so Friday, I talked about Aiden Holloway getting tight, but you talked about another player that you were worried about, and in the second half, Todd Pettiford said, "Oh, this is why Mason Woods was worried about me." What'd you think?
Oh my God, I was so happy throughout the whole game. Like, I'm not gonna have to hear my good friend who's an Auburn fan talk about Todd Pettiford, because we've gone back and forth about LeBaron Philon and Todd Pettiford being better than one another. Friendly arguments throughout the season. He got me on Saturday night, man. That was Mr. Pettiford was electric in the second half. He couldn't miss. It was I thought after you kind of missed out on any bit of onslaught from. I mean, I think he got 1 bucket in the first half. Maybe I'm pretty sure he finished at like 13. I think 14.
Yeah, 13. It was his 3-pointer. The 3-pointer that made it 65. Take it 68. It was like a right back answer. Yeah. And he scored what in those last 7 minutes?
11,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points in the last 7.5 minutes of the game. 11 points in the second half, but nine of them in that last seven or so minutes.
That was it was what I was concerned about going in. Now I did think I was a little worried he maybe would do more damage than that. I think he still could have done more damage. Probably he didn't quite get going. Like we just said, he didn't really get going until the last 7-8 minutes of the game or so. But that's going to be. I mean, he is continuing to play better and better as the season goes on for Auburn. If these, when these two teams meet again, he will only be better than he was in this matchup. That's something that Alabama will have to. That's one more thing you got to worry about with this Auburn team.
All right, so anything else you got for us today? I mean, we're skipping on we're skipping on baseball right now. I know baseball started off really well, beating Bradley. Softball.
Time for concern, maybe.
Tom Cranberry going to be joining me Wednesday evening, and we'll play it Thursday morning to kind of preview, to kind of let us know about what happened this past weekend and the weekend. We're 2 weekends in now. So we got a small sample size, so you can tell us about the team. You got Amelia Vandergriff, I believe her name, Brock Vandergriff's younger sister. has apparently been tearing it up.
That's
but
who set the record for the stolen bases, right?
Right. She needs a little bit of help, is what it sounds like.
Mm.
A bunch of blown leads this weekend down in Clearwater for the softball team. So we'll talk to Tom Canterbury Wednesday night. That will
This
not
can't
be
be real.
live. I will play it Thursday, and I'll play it Thursday, and then we can react to it.
A little clever marketing from the New Wave podcast.
Oh, I see that. I saw that. New Wave
Really
having
had me thinking
LeBron.
for a second, but it is Justin LeBron, very likely. I would imagine.
It's got to be, right?
I would think so, but you never know. I guess. Hey, Ryan Williams. I mean, I don't think it'd be crazy to think that LeBron James does know who Ryan Williams is.
LeBron James.
But I don't believe that they're going to be getting LeGoat on the New Wave podcast.
LeBron, you messed up this weekend,
that
buddy.
was crazy. Oh man.
LeBron, you seriously messed up.
How can I? He was the meme of get in there and make it about yourself.
Well, that and like if you knew you were hurt, you knew you weren't playing.
Why did you go?
I know you want to be a part of the spectacle, and you kind of like are grandfathered in. You probably could have gone and been a part of the spectacle, and still
Guaranteed.
someone else would have been able to be. Oh, I'm on the All-Star team. You could have even had him as an alternate.
All he had to do was shoot a text to Adam Silver that said, "Hey man, I'm about this one out. I still want to be there." And they would have been LeBron James. Decide, injured, not going to play in the All-Star game. Here's his alternate. He's still going to be sitting on the bench with the team. Like, you're LeBron James. You can do whatever you want in the NBA. You could call Adam Silver right now and say, I do not want to play for the Lakers. I want to be on the Knicks tomorrow. And you could probably make it happen, LeBron. You have so much control. It is so weird to play this and act like you couldn't have just done what you wanted here. It's very strange. And then he even made it into the picture, and everybody's in the All-Star jerseys, their uniforms, and he's just in his like regular street clothes. Like it's such a weird attention grabby. Like I don't know.
NBA product. Who cares?
When I tell you, I literally did not watch a second of All-Star Weekend.
No, I didn't either.
Did not. This is the first time I think in my life I've not even turned it on my TV. Usually I'll throw on the dunk contest in the background, just see what happens. I'll throw on the celebrity game, just see what happens. Throw on the All-Star game, see what happens. I mean, I wasn't even remotely. I didn't even know it was happening until Thursday.
It's all been about, for me, college basketball over the weekend,
Yeah.
and
What did you? I mean, I didn't even
college basketball
know
and
enough
Vanderbilt
about it to
baseball.
know what the new format that they debuted that everybody hated was. There was some kind of like
They're like
tournament.
mini teams, and they broke them into like play into.
I know there was some kind of
Playing to
Mr.
what
Beast
school?
thing that people were mad about. I saw. I don't even know. The NBA has ruined what the All-Star Weekend used to be. It used to be awesome. I remember.
Well, that McClung dude, I don't think has played in the NBA in like 2 years or whatever is what I read.
He's been kicking around in the G League, I think.
If you're not on an NBA roster,
You can't be in the dunk contest. It
because
started with
I bet
Derrick
you
Jones Jr. a few
J.D.
years
Davison
ago.
could make a nice dunk.
Sure. Yeah, it goes. I remember. I'm sure there was players before him, but I remember Derrick Jones Jr., who now I don't even know where he plays now, but he was a G League guy. I think he was on the Suns G League team at the time, and made it to. And I remember being like, "This guy's awesome at dunking. He's not on an active roster. Why is he out here?" And it's probably pretty hard to get people to do it, I'm sure, but maybe let's just not do the dunk contest anymore. I think it's okay. We've seen all the dunks.
All the things,
I
except for Grant Nelson dunking
Unless
from the
somebody
3
does
point.
like a backflip
from the
and
3-point
dunks
line.
it with their feet or something, like we've seen all the dunks.
Wembanyama needs to dunk from the 3-point line.
Sure. I feel like he could probably just stand and like lean over.
From the 3-point line,
Yeah.
that's what he needs to do.
That'd be cool.
All right. We're about done for the day. We will get you on track with Alabama, Missouri tomorrow
Not easy.
and Wednesday. Yeah, you got to bounce back, and you can bounce back. I mean, schedule just does not let up. You are Missouri on Wednesday. This coming Saturday, Kentucky at home. You are Mississippi State at home the next Tuesday, at Tennessee, Florida at home, and then at Auburn for your season finale. So it's going to be a very challenging road ahead. But look, this is all setting us up for another strong tournament run, and that's what it's all about.
Very true. Very true.
We'll
Like
see.
we said.
We'll
Hey,
see how it
good
goes.
ones
We'll
need
see
their
how it
peak.
goes. Saturday was not fun. If you got comments on the game on Saturday, you can leave us a call on the voicemail line 205-462-7340 extension 800. I want to thank James for calling in today as the first caller. Hope you guys could hear it. We could hear it pretty well in here. I hope you guys could hear it as well. And we will talk to you again tomorrow, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. We'll be right here live on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.